Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I wanted to give you a close-up of this beautiful little miniature dendrobium. This is my April's Hope, and we have had such cold weather in the past 2.5 weeks, and today I am hoping for spring. So I just wanted to show you this beautiful bloom. I love the fact that orchids grow and bloom during the winter months, and they just decorate your home with such beauty. So I wanted to share this with you. I also wanted to give you some updates on what I'm going to be doing with my orchids now that it's warmed up. So many of these, when I brought them in the kitchen, I had to bring them in the house because it just got so bitterly cold and I couldn't keep my orchid room quite warm enough for them. And so many of them, as you know, were in spike, and now they have set buds. This is the most crucial time, as a matter of fact, of their blooming. This is where bud blast can happen really easy if you're not careful. I'm going to give you an example here with my Phal legato. When I brought this in the house, this bloom was already bloomed out. Obviously, this one right back here was getting ready to bloom out, and there was a sudden change in temperature, and as you know, that's what causes bud blast. Bud blast is caused by a sharp rise or fall in the temperature, and it causes the flower buds to turn yellow and fall off, and you don't want that happening. I couldn't help it that I had to move these in, so I lost that one bud. But I'm taking heart because I've got this one bloom here. I've got these other two buds that have not blasted. And as you see right here, I've got a primary spike that's also going to be blooming. So I'll have plenty of flowers on this beautiful orchid. But I just kind of wanted to share with you that while they're in bud, that is when they're the most sensitive to being moved around. So this is another plant that I've decided I'm going to leave in the house. I'm not going to take it back to the orchid room. These blooms came in the house just absolutely fine. As you see, none of them have faded or blasted. But what I'm looking at here is, do you see this spike and the one underneath? These are starting to set buds, and I don't want to move these right now because if there's any sudden change in temperature, those buds are going to blast, and I don't want any bud blast on this beautiful dendrobium. So my orchids that are in bud, I'm going to leave them in the house until they're completely through blooming. I like having blooming orchids in the house anyway. They're the most beautiful things to decorate ever. And the ones that are just only starting spikes, and I know that they're going to be safe to move, I will put those back in the orchid room. I was very happy that I didn't lose any of these blooms on my beautiful Vanda when I brought these in, but these had been bloomed out for about a month. Usually it's pretty safe to go ahead and move those after they've been in bloom for that long. I normally don't do that even. I'm usually very, very careful with them while they're in bloom. If they're in bloom, I like to keep them in the same place where they came out in bloom. That is the most success I've had with keeping blooms on the plants for the longest period of time. And I've had several requests for some updates on specific phals. I just kind of wanted to go over some new spikes that I have, some buds that are setting. Several people have asked me, did Buddy Phal ever spike? Yes, there's the spike. I figured out that this little phal, I don't even think it's a miniature. I think that this has a lot of Phal equestris. It's a beautiful purple and white bloom. You will see when this one blooms, and it is a showstopper. So I can't wait to share with you the beautiful blooms on this plant. I also have a spike on my tester waterculture phal. This is my white phal that I've had in waterculture now for about a year and a half. I've got a nice spike to show for all my work on this one, so I'm very happy with this. And now I'm showing you their place in front of these kitchen windows. Do you see how I have the spikes turned towards the window? That's very important to do while they're setting buds still and as they're blooming. I will face them this way until they're about halfway bloomed out, and then I'll face them back in towards the room, and I'll have a beautiful spike that all the blooms turn the same way, which is what you want. And here's my cool breeze phal. As you see, all of the buds are heading the same direction. You don't want them to come out all in different directions. So you keep those buds facing the light source and you don't turn it around. Because if you turn it around at this point, the blooms will come out in all different directions, and that's not what you want to have happen. And here's my little star phal. You have seen this one come a long, long way. I didn't think that this one was going to make it, but it sure did. And it's going to have a beautiful spike of white flowers with a tinge of pink. Very charming little bloom on this one. So as you see, this little orchid has just come a long, long way since I placed it back in moss. It looks like a completely different plant. So I'm so happy with that progress there. And here is my little phal intensity. And it's got a spike that it's working on as well. Very proud of that. That has the white bloom with the purple lip on it. Love that combination. And thanks to my subscriber Christina for the ID on Magic Art. She's in full bloom. What a showstopper this one is. During this cold weather, I have just looked at this, and I've really enjoyed the bloom on this beautiful phal. And this is my waterculture phal that is purple. And I have a new spike on it. I am so happy to report. I didn't know if this was going to make it. It really turned around very nicely once I started fertilizing it. And so I'm really happy to see this spike. I'm always happy to see a new spike. You would think that it was the very first time that a orchid had ever spiked for me. I get so excited when I have a new spike. So those are my updates for today. The next time that I make a video, I will probably have some of these plants back in the orchid room, so I'll probably be doing some filming in the house and in the orchid room. That will be different. And I hope you all are just having a wonderful day and be highly favored, deeply loved, and greatly blessed. And we'll talk to you all next time.